What's up, everyone? Welcome back. It's been a little while. We ain't really posted any videos since Mod Nats, but I wanted you guys to be a part of this experience that I'm about to go through here, and it's going to be pretty exciting, and I think you guys are going to enjoy this. So yeah, what's in the box? Definitely got what I think is going to be a big fix to the problematic Edelbrock intake here, and it's just a hunch, but I think it's going to work. It's going to take a little bit of work, and it's going to be a fun process, and it's going to be really cool once it's done. You guys hang around to the end of the video and talk about some upgrades that I've done to the car over the past month. So let's get this thing open and see what's in here and what the plan is. On my razor blade skills here. Hopefully I don't cut my hand. Woo! All we have here. Check that out. All right, little used, but that's fine because we're gonna fix it up and make it look nice once it's done. But this is a Reichardt racing intake. These are pretty rare, pretty old. So let's go over a little bit of the history of this thing, and then we'll get back and talk about what my plans are with it. The Reichardt racing intake was first introduced in 2003. With a slim aftermarket selection of parts for the 4.62 valve, this intake was a welcomed addition. The aftermarket had struggled with the 2-valve platform due to the lackluster performance of the non-PI 96-98 engines. This drove many Ford enthusiasts towards the more popular 4-valve platform, or pushed them to stay with the small block Ford platform. The intake featured two top hat configurations, including a provision for a standard round throttle body or the larger Cobra-style oval throttle body. Sporting very short 4 1/4 inch runners, this intake was more suited for very high RPM race-style engines. Needless to say, many were disappointed with the loss of low-end power and torque when coupling this intake with a milder, street-friendly compo. This ultimately gave the Reichardt intake a bad reputation, and it slowly died off over the years and has now become extremely rare. All right, so now we got that little history lesson on this thing. What are my plans, right? So you guys know I hate this Edelbrock intake. It's a good intake, but it's a carbureted intake, and the runner links are all unequal on it. And that just gives you different power bands for each cylinder, and you don't have a well-balanced engine. So here we arrive at the Reichardt intake, and this is going to be no more. I'm not going to use this. What my plan is obviously this thing has equal length runners on all 8 cylinders, and this nice plenum area here. And a lot of argument with these things were that the runners were too short on them and that there wasn't enough plenum volume with the way that this top hat was made. So I think high RPM wise, the short runners will work fine for what I want to do. You know, even if I could rev this thing up to 8,500 RPM or higher, I'd be pretty happy with that. And I think these short runners will support that. And then what you want when you're doing that kind of stuff also is a large amount of plenum volume. So what my plan is to do is do kind of like a sheet metal fabbed upper here, and put a big 9mm throttle body on it, and you'll kind of get sort of that like Holley low ram effect, kind of like all the LS guys get. I'm not sure how I'm going to go about doing that yet. I've got a mock-up motor over there. I might build a jig and put this on it, build a jig, because I want the throttle body to end up in the same place on this new intake, so I don't have to make any big changes to any of my intercooler piping. So that's the plan. Like I say, I'm pretty excited about this thing. Picked it up from Justin Humphrey. Helped me out. These things are extremely rare these days. You know, they weren't very popular, like I said, but I think for what I want to do now, I think this thing's going to work. It's going to work really well. So just imagine that with the big sheet metal upper, right? Big sheet metal upper with a throttle body facing backwards. Get it powder coated and looking really nice. It's going to be an awesome intake, and it's going to perform extremely well. I want to say these intake runners are, I'd be interested to get a tape measure and find out how close these are to those middle runners right here on this Edelbrock. I think the middle runners on the Edelbrock are a little bit longer just because they come out here to this smaller 4150 flange. But you don't have as much plenum volume here to pull from at high RPM. So this is probably going to shift the RPM range higher, and that's fine because that's what I want. But this thing looks like it's had a long, hard life. It's a little rough looking, which is, like I said, that's not a big deal. But overall, it's in really good shape. It's already got a port here, so I can run all my vacuum stuff off of it. I only have to put a port in the upper, so it'll look nice and clean. And then this is the old deal right here. If you want to run this on like a stock Mustang, you would do that. But you see, here's the problem with this is look where your air's coming in at, right here, right? If you sit this on top of the intake, now all your air is coming to, you know, mostly your back four cylinders right here. And you're filling that first before you get an air up here. And in an NA application, it may not be as much of an issue, but I still think it is. But, you know, when you're forcing air through here at extremely high speeds, that air is going to direct more towards the straight path that it's coming in on than it is to come up here and give these cylinders air too. So I could see where people wouldn't be happy with these things, you know, especially back in the day when people weren't trying to race them and turn a bunch of high RPM. So that's that for this. I thought I'd bring you guys along. I know I'm pretty excited about it. I'll definitely have to do a few mods on it, do this head cooling mod back here, figure out how thick this is, which it looks like it ain't too bad in there. Drill through there and make a head cooling mod, and we should be good to go. This thing's already got fuel rails on it. I don't know if I'm gonna use these or not. This thing used like a stock style fuel rail setup. So we'll see. I don't know what's up with this orange. It's almost like someone plastic dipped it or did like a really bad job painting over it at one point in time. I don't know. I'd like to know what the history on this thing is, but it's gonna be nice. So told you guys we'd talk a little bit about some mods that have happened to the car. I've been real busy and I haven't been filming, and yeah, I'm terrible, but made some upgrades to the car. We got some new brakes up here. I got sick of the aerospace brakes. I could not get them to stop dragging. No matter what I did, shimmed them, they were just a problem. So I jumped up to these Wheelwood Dynapro front brakes. These things are extremely nice. They weren't very cheap, but you get what you pay for. Install was really, really easy, and they turned out really nice. So hopefully I have some more stopping power over this next season. You guys see my new Shop Cat Turbo? What's up, Turbo? Say hey to everyone. What's up, buddy? This is my new shop partner. So went to a stock location coilover, the same Vikings that I had before, the AM valved, high horsepower, rear drag shocks. Just they're a 5-inch stroke. So if I do want to put them inboard eventually, I can, and just get any kind of kit to get them in there. And then I busted that. I used to have a smaller crossbar across the bottom right here, which was fine. But when I hit that metal at Clarksville, it knocked the weld loose from the pumpkin right there. And so I went through and redid all of this with a thicker bar, and I actually welded that middle portion to the pumpkin correctly with some 309 stainless this time and a little preheat. But it cleaned it up a lot under here, and now I can adjust ride height in the back without having to shim the rear springs. So that's going to be a huge improvement this next year, especially when I'm tossing a bunch of weight in the back of the car. And then the last change I got on here is, well, we finally ditched the HP. Served me well for a long time, but it was time to step up to a Dominator. So I got the nice Motion Raceworks roll bar mount right there behind it, and I got this thing mounted up like just perfect right here in the glove compartment. So the plan is to ditch this boost leash at some point, do boost control through the Holly, and then I'll also do my bump through the Holly. That goes through that pulse leash combo right there right now. And then, you know, maybe get some shock travel sensors and a couple other little odds and ends. I went to PRI this year, and there was a weather sensor there by Plipton Technologies. I think I said his name right. And probably gonna get one of those so we can have DA and everything in the tune and kind of adjust for that on the fly. It's gonna be pretty cool. But that's about all I got, guys. Just slowly making upgrades on the car for the winter. Hopefully we'll get back at it pretty early, probably March time frame. We'll start racing again, and I'm gonna mainly focus on just back into the track stuff this year. We're gonna get some weight in the car. We're gonna scale it. You guys are gonna know what the weight bias is and everything. I'm not hiding any of that stuff this year, and I'm gonna bring you guys along. It's gonna be cool. So y'all stay tuned, because we're gonna be doing a good bit more upgrades and some wiring and everything else this winter, and hopefully, you know, do even better on the back of the track stuff next year. So I'll see you guys in the next one.